Hello people, this is going to be a much cheerier video than the last time, and I just want to update you on some things. I've got a really busy week ahead of me. So what have I been doing since the last time I was on here greeting my eyes out after getting told I wasn't a candidate for the lung transplant? Well, I did go away, do my research, and I contacted my fracture liaison officer and phoned up for an appointment and said, look, I really want to find out my diagnosis for my upper body, what the bone numbers are, and said about, you know, not being able to get on the lung transplant list. So really wanted to know what the criteria was there, and wanted to find out, was the medication that I was on, as I was told, building my bones up? Because that's what I was told. So it made sense. Why would somebody strike me off a list when I'm not even ready to go on the list yet? And when we get nearer the time, my bones could be built up. So it makes sense not to make that decision just now and take it away from me. So I was very lucky. I got an appointment within a week. So it was coming up to the week for me to speak to my fracture liaison officer. And then I think it was the day before, I got a call. So unknown to me, I don't have a rheumatology consultant or specialist. Unknown to me, my fracture liaison officer had went to the consultant to discuss this, because I'm a unique case, you see. I'm one in over a million. And I don't think they'd come across this, and they also were very intrigued and wanted to find out, well, what is the criteria for a lung transplant? And what can we do? So they spoke to a consultant, and he said, well, to give her the best chance, I think we must put her on this medication. I can't remember off the top of my head, because it's all sort of going through just now. It takes a bit of time to coordinate all these things. Anyway, I got a call to say that I wasn't going to get to speak to my fracture liaison officer. She'd passed me on to the osteoporosis nurse. She thought that was a better fit for me. So when I got the call, so it was actually, I think, a couple of days after that, so it was still like just over a week, I managed to get a call, and it was just the information I wanted. And by this time, my consultant still hadn't phoned me, which is no surprising, to be honest. And I didn't mean that to diss it, but that's just the way it is. And so he was supposed to phone me a couple of days, but he didn't. He's a busy man, but he's the one that made the decision to strike me off the list, and here's me wanting to find out the information. So if I'm not going to get it for him, he's not actually a bone specialist, he's a respiratory consultant, I'll get it for the bone specialist. So that's where I went to. So a wonderful lady, my osteoporosis nurse, explained everything. She told me with the consultant that, well, I'll tell you, because it's nice to know this information, because there might be somebody out here that is in the same position as me. You go for a DEXA scan, and it measures the bone density. So they scan you from the waist down. So when I got my DEXA scan, I was very confused, because I like to know everything. And I said to my GP, when, you know, everyone goes to the GP and you ask the results, I thought, where is this osteopenia about? What bones do I have it in? And he said to me at the time, you have it in your hips and your femur. So your femur is like your thigh bone. I was like, what about my ribs and that? And he's like, doesn't he say anything about that? He just says it's there. I was like, oh, right. And then I spoke to my fracture liaison officer, I think about a month after that. It's a routine thing. You get referred to speak to them, and they tell you how to, you know, live with your bones and try and not get fractures and avoid falling so you don't break your bones. And I was put on this alendronic acid at that time. So I had says to her, I says, why is it not saying anything about me having it in my ribs and things like that? And she says, oh, you most probably will have it there. It's just we don't scan there, we just scan from the waist down, because you always have it like goes to the big bones, I think. I just assume that, just with some knowledge that I have prior to this. It goes to the big bones because there's more bone marrow and stuff there in your hips and your femur. I was like, alright. And then that was when after I went into Strathcarron, because I remember I was getting all that pain. So that was way back to last year. And I had got the CT scan, you see. And the CT scan had shown that I had the fractures in my spine, compression fractures in my spine, and multiple fractures in my ribs. So that's where we were getting the readings from the CT scans. So I also had another CT scan when I was in the hospital there at Christmas time, at December, when I was very poorly with that infection, to rule out a pulmonary embolism, a blood clot. And so they would have got readings then as well, that they could look at my bones. So this is where they've got the numbers from. So the numbers from your DEXA, or what the numbers we look at in the hospital, are called T-scores. And this is how it was explained to me. So I'm just explaining how it was explained to me, and it makes a bit of sense. So a T-score is based on, say, when you get to about 30 years old, your bones then start to, you know, get a bit weaker and things like that. So a T-score goes from that. And with the lung transplant, they work on something called a Z-score, which is pretty rubbish, because a Z-score is basically like you having normal bone health. So there's not much range, there's a little bit of range, but not as much as the T-score. So on the T-score I show that I've got osteopenia. On the Z-score I show that I've got osteoporosis in the ribs and the spine. So what they're looking for is a score of -2 to get a lung transplant, and I'm at -3.5. So the osteoporosis nurse says to me, I asked the consultant, do you think we could get her bones to a -2.0? And he says, I don't know, but this medication will give her the best chance she can get. So it's a medication I've got to inject myself, I think, every day. It's on order now. I had to get some blood tests and things. I spoke to another osteoporosis nurse there. She was very lovely, and it's just you know what, it's just the whole process. Like, here's my consultant passed on a message to the nurses to come in and see me, and then they tell me this devastating news for me. I mean, you saw how devastated I was, especially after I had the meeting with him in September, and we were so positive and mentioning, you know, the lung transplant, and it's like you took that away from me. Why would you take that away from me? Why would you not think, all right, well, what can we give Maureen to help build her bones to get her to the level where she needs to be for a lung transplant? It's like they just write me off. I felt like that a few times, you know. I felt like that, you know, if you go back and watch my videos about the heart diagnosis thing, I was going on and on about having a high heart rate for months and months, from like the August to the February till I was in Strathcarron and got the CT scan, and it showed no disease progression, and I ended up on the heart medication, and it was like night and day. I could walk further. It brought my heart rate down. I didn't have shortness of breath, and I had to shout for that. I also had to shout for a DEXA scan. I should have been given one way back in 2019 when it showed up in my first DEXA, in my first CT scan, that my doctor says, oh, there's some scar tissue there, or scar in there in your sternum, which is this bone here, and your third rib here on the right side. And I was like, I've never broke any bones there. So why was I not given a DEXA scan then? Because I asked the osteoporosis nurse, I also says, can you tell me what is the criteria for getting a DEXA scan then? And she says you should be given one in the first 3 months of you being on prednisolone, which I have been on since February the 13th, 2019. And I first got a DEXA scan after I shouted about it and said, no, this pain is not coming, like after getting pumped full of morphine every night, with nurses coming out and they were saying it was costochondritis and disease progression. I was like, no, this is my bones. And I called out for a DEXA scan and I was right enough, and that was October 2021. So that's all I'm saying. I have been missed and I'm always right. But you know what, maybe my bones wouldn't be in as bad a mess as they are if I had been put on alendronic acid way back a couple of years, 2 years before, in 2019, if I was given a DEXA scan. Who knows? But anyway, we're tackling it now. I'm going to get this medication, and I just like their approach. I feel really, really supported. I've also spoke to my GP as well. My GP I had phoned up to say, oh, look out for, I need to get these blood tests done, because they asked me to get these blood tests ordered for the osteoporosis nurse, bone blood test. And I said, can I also speak to Dr. Bailey? And he called me, and he's the best GP in the whole world, and he completely supports me. And I told him about not getting on the lung transplant, and he supports my plan, and he says it makes sense. Why strike me off just now? Why not wait? But I don't know why my consultant did that, but I'm going to speak to him. I think it's Wednesday he's supposed to call now, so that's like over a month. My nurses have had to chase him up, so I'll speak to him. But you know what, I'm fully gratitude, because if he hadn't done this, I would never have contacted the fraction liaison officer. I'd never be put on this medication that's going to help to build my bones up more, much better than the alendronic acid, because it's a completely different drug. And the last osteoporosis nurse told me that this is the best drug I could possibly be on. There's two, so I'm really, really grateful for that. So I think it'll be a couple of weeks till I start it. Side effects of this, you know what, I've been through every side effect, so it doesn't matter. She says it can be like growing pains, like bone pain, as they're probably filling in, aren't they, really? I can handle that. I just, like, whenever I put on a new drug, I would always say to anybody, whatever the side effects are, you know, give it a few months, not just like a week or so. I've been on tablets that have, you know, had me running to the toilet and feeling nauseous, and that's my worst thing. I can handle pain, see pain, muscle pain, anything like that. I've got a very high pain threshold, but see, when it comes to tummy problems and things like that, it's not good. But I'm actually getting a toilet put up the stairs because Dylan's moved out, so I've now arranged for workmen to come, and although I don't go out in public and things, it's like a wee holiday. I'm going to remove myself from the house so it's safe for me, so I don't catch anything with dust or anything like that. And I'm going away up to Ballater, and I'm going to stay just off the River Dee in the middle of Balmoral Estate. And there's like 4 little cottages, all done disabled adapted. It's got a special bed in it that I need to sleep in, because I need to sleep sitting up, and bathroom and things. Everyone will be on the flat for me as well. They're able to take the oxygen delivery, so Adobe Vivisol, or they will deliver all my oxygen up there that I need for the week. if I decide just to stay in the little cottage and not go out anywhere, it'll be beautiful. I'm going to take my book. Dylan got me a watercolour book to use to start painting, so I'm going to take that up. I was doing a watercolour lesson with Laura for Strathcarron the other day, and I really starting to like my pictures. I'm not ready to share them with anybody yet, but I like doing it. And I says, well, I'll draw some pictures and then I'll bring them back, and she's going to teach me how to do shading and highlighting, which is where I sort of need to be, to stop them looking like a kid's drew them. But so that's what I'm doing, and then of course I'm doing lots of stuff on my website. As I said about the book, me and Danny have actually started writing the book already, so we wrote a chapter last weekend each. We've been putting post-it notes of little stories, probably little stories that I've already told you, but we're just going to collate them into a book to help people and just tell us about our, well, not about the journey, but you know what it's like, the adventures of Mo and Dan, because it is, life is an adventure. Fed up with people saying, oh, we struggled through this and it was hard times and nothing. Oh, you know what, it's an adventure, isn't it? It's an adventure, you get a story at it. So this is the adventures of Mo and Dan living with NSIP, because there's nothing out there for my disease. There isn't at all. There's one little book I read. It wasn't very long and it wasn't very informative and that, and I thought I can do better than that. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to write a book. So I don't know how long it's going to take, because there's always loads of stories. So we've been doing that, and then you can have a wee look at my website at startwithtouch.com, and we've been updating that, and I'll be putting more blogs on there. So that's where I'm going to sort of be working from. My whole courses and things will be on there to help others. So I'm living my life. Did a bit of gardening at the weekend there. Was a wee bit sore, but I know my new normal now. I know what I can do, and today I'm actually not really sore at all. And I was in a lot of pain actually yesterday planting little seeds. I had to do a houseplant hospital because how the hell do you kill a mother-in-law's tongue? I never thought it possible. I gave Dylan my best plant away when he moved out. I says, you take that one, son. He says, are you sure that's the best one? I was like, you take it. And a beautiful, like, geometric, lovely bright yellow pot and everything. Big striking mother-in-law's tongues coming out of it. He's like, Mum, I've killed it. I was like, how have you killed it? He's like, they're just all pulling out. Root rot. Watered it too much. His bedroom is freezing cold as well, which is now fixed. He had a problem with the heater. So I had to slice all the wee bits up, and I'll hopefully make more little plants out of that. So yeah, today I'm just going to now go and do some work on the laptop. I've got students moving over from the old platform to the new platform, and I'm changing my business now. It used to be a limited company, it's now going as a sole trader, just because it's, you know, we don't do as much now as well, and with my health I can now just dip in and out when I need to. We've just got a few courses, and the courses have also took a new direction as well. They're ones that I've done with my friend Carolyn and my husband, and then of course the oncology massage course, which is always going to be there. And I love doing the assessments, and I've actually got some case studies that came in today. I need to mark them. So I've got a busy wee morning doing that. Anyway, I've spoke too long. This is quite a long video. I'll need to go, so you know we want to watch all this. Anyway, I said it would be much cheerier, guys, and I will keep you updated with things. I'm also still losing weight. I lost another kilo. So I've got like just about under 8 kilos to lose till I get to the 30 BMI. I'm still on 21 milligrams of steroids. I will come down another milligram after Friday. Friday I've got some lung function tests that I need to do. I hope they go all right, because I have had a wee bit of thoracic constrictions lately, so I want to be the best that I can be. So if I feel like I'm not, I might cancel the appointment. Just give me a little bit more time, because I'm still recovering from the infection, and I'm still taking some tablets as well, because I get thrush after antibiotics in my mouth and my esophagus. I've just handed in another swab this morning after taking a week's worth, but I still feel I've got it anyway. I can tell. I know, it's not my first rodeo, so I'm on another course of these probably for another week, so I still got some infection in my body happening. Yeah, bye, have a good day. I'll just end this now.